Hey, welcome back, everybody. I participated in a survey today.
Okay.
I had a couple of research guys come over to my house and do a little study about technology and politics, and it was really interesting, and answered a bunch of questions about how I interact with politics in 2015 and my thoughts on that process. And one of the things that I mentioned to them was that whenever I see like a meme on Facebook, or I come across some sort of headline that's clickbait or whatever, or for example, the Jimmy Carter thing. I wasn't alive during the hostage crisis. I don't know anything about it, but everyone probably, well, Jimmy Carter banned Iranians from coming to the country during the hostage crisis. I thought, really, that doesn't sound like something that old Jimbo would do. So I Googled Jimmy Carter bans, and the first 15 or so results in Google were all conservative websites talking about the Iranian ban. I only bring that up because to me and so the person I was talking to said, well, does that suggest bias in the Google results? I said, well, no, I don't think so. I think that demonstrates the energy behind a particular topic. The liberals don't care, didn't want to make this point, or didn't want to point this out to anybody. It was the only people with an interest in pointing out Jimmy Carter were the conservative folks, and so they were the ones that were pushing this narrative. When I Googled this thing about the North Carolina pastor, keep calling him pastor, the North Carolina mayor, who the mayor of Franklin, North Carolina, I think is what it was, was sworn in on the Constitution rather than a Bible. And I popped it up, and it was kind of an equal split between the conservative websites and the liberal websites. And of course, it's always funny to see some of these conservative website headlines, mayor raises eyebrows when he doesn't swear on the Bible, or the liberal ones saying, what, mayor swears on the Constitution, who cares? And so when you brought this up to me and I kind of read a little bit about it, it seemed like such a non-event to me that I was curious as to why you brought it up. And I guess that's my question. What's the big deal?
Well, a couple of things. One, what he said, now I don't know if he's Republican or Democrat.
The story I didn't see either way.
The article didn't say one way or another. But he got up there and said, well, listen, I don't think religion has any role in government, which is a position you hold very dear.
Yep.
All right. And therefore, I'm going to swear on the Constitution because that is what I believe in. And I think that has a lot of implications. There's always been this debate, and you and I have had it. Mm-hmm. Are we a Judeo-Christian nation? Are our laws based in Judeo-Christian ethics? Is it based in Judeo-Christian history? And I think it's very interesting that this person got up there and said, listen, the Constitution is what I believe should rule here, and that is how I'm going to take my oath. And I think it's interesting because a lot of the Christian right say, well, all of our power that we have, that God has granted us, is written out in the Constitution. Therefore, we have a higher calling. And what this guy is saying is, you may have a higher calling, but this is the word of the United States, and this is what I'm going to follow. And I think that's going to have a far-reaching impact if this kind of takes off.
Well, I guess, I don't know what, maybe, I don't know. But what I would say is, I think that the quote that I read from him, he said, the oath that I'm taking is an oath to protect the Constitution. And so I'm not taking an oath to protect any one religion or another. I'm taking an oath to protect the document, so I'd rather affirm my allegiance to the Constitution through my oath on the Constitution itself. I think that it said that he was a humanist, that he wasn't a religious person, and so he didn't feel an affinity to any particular religion. I guess the swearing on the Bible is the opinion I have on it, I'm kind of, it'd be interesting to hear what our pal Christian had to say about this, because aside from the fact that I don't really care what this guy does, what he swears on or what he doesn't swear on, is that the Constitution is littered with language, swear or affirm. And you hear that in court all the time, swear or affirm. And in fact, I don't know of any judge in Polk County anymore that requires anybody to swear in on a Bible before they take testimony. They ask if you want to swear or affirm that the statements you're going to say are going to be true. And they asked him to affirm his allegiance to the Constitution and that he would do whatever he could to protect it. Look, you have to, it's a solemnizing event. And the Bible has been the traditional thing that people swear as a sign that their oath is serious, that this is a thing that they're going to promise something on. While I don't hold any particular allegiance or place a lot more importance in the Bible than I do anything else, I understand why people do that, and I understand why the tradition has persisted into the 21st century. But under the Constitution, affirming for anything, whether it be affirming your court or affirming your oath for political office or whatever else that we ask a person to swear or affirm in this country, an affirmation that you'll do it has always been enough and has always been constitutionally enough. And so I don't think this really has much to say about religion as it does to one man saying, I don't need this tradition to make my oath mean something to me.
All right. Well, now I do agree with what you said. However, if there are more people willing to swear on the Constitution rather than the Bible, in my personal opinion, I think that's going to be better, because at least then you're going, well, hold on, I'm having to uphold the Constitution. Instead of saying, well, I'm having to uphold God's law, which, let's face it, sometimes is at odds with our Constitution.
I don't have a problem with that.
So I think that's going to be helpful, at least to straighten a lot of things. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan following the Bible, but, from my opinion, you need to be able to stick with that Constitution as much as you can. And the reason is it was designed, by guys that are pretty darn smart for people with a third grade education. We're going to be back. We're going to talk about the governor next. There's a couple of issues. One, longest serving governor in history. So congratulations on that. Two, he's had a birthday and I wasn't invited to the party, which I'm a little sad about. And three, the Medicaid mess that the governor has created has made national news yet again. So we'll be back right after this break. Thanks everybody for tuning in.